Hi, welcome to Evergreen Learning Spotlight. Joining me today are some members of the varsity basketball team from Union High School. Let's meet our guests now. First we have Roger Shepard, who is the basketball coach for the girls varsity team at Union. Next to him is Tessa Vanderpool, an 11th grader at Union who's on the girls varsity basketball team, and Molly Petrie, another 11th grader from Union High School. Welcome. So today we're going to talk about kind of a unique project that you folks did over at Union. And Tessa, I'm going to actually have you talk a little bit about the project and just what it all involved.
We kind of planned to do this project and go to the transition center in Portland and feed the homeless, and we had to prepare a meal for them, and Molly, her mom, kind of organized like the prep of it, and we sent home a cornbread mix and brownie mix to all the girls, and we each made some of those to bring to the transition center. And then we prepared the chili there, and then we kind of set up like an assembly line to serve them with like the cornbread, chili, cheese, sour cream, and onions, and the brownies, and we just kind of interacted with them and served them the meal.
Nice. So Roger, was the entire team involved?
We have 3 teams at the high school, but because of the limited resources or space that they have at transition projects, we limited it to just our varsity kids. So there were 10 athletes and 2 coaches and then 2 parent chaperones.
So you didn't just get in a van and drive down there. What all did this involve as far as getting ready to do this project?
Well, we spend a lot of time in our program together, and you know, basketball is a huge focus. Our kids are very committed. But we do a lot of teaching in our program about life and relationships, handling adversity, treating each other with compassion. And so as a coaching staff, we had talked, we wanted to do something along this lines in our program. We tried to set it up last year and they didn't have room for us. But we thought if we could get out into the community, give back a little bit, and really let the girls learn about adversity and see what it is, and compassion, and what it means to give back, and that there are things in the world much larger than the things and issues that we deal with on a day in, day out basis. So our assistant coach, Jamie Johnston, had worked with transition projects before, he and his wife. And so through him, he contacted her, and she found us a space this year. And then it was just organization. We had Kitty, who was Coach's wife, contact Molly's mom, Beth, and we worked out the logistics. So, you know, they provide the kitchen and the time, and then we went out and did the grocery shopping. I think Molly's mom took care of that and organized it. And then we went down, and the kids do all the cooking and serving.
So Molly, what did you think when you heard you were going to do this community service project as part of the basketball program?
I was definitely excited about it, and so are my teammates. I think a lot of us have done projects in the past, like community service, but this project was different in that it was really cool. We got to interact with the people we were serving, and that was a much different experience, and it was very rewarding for all of us, and I think we all took a lot away.
Now you're also on the ASB leadership.
Yeah.
Are you an officer this year, or what do you do?
I'm on junior class council, and it's my 2nd year serving for ASB.
Nice. So we sent a photographer down who was able to take some shots of you as you were preparing food and things. We couldn't take shots of the clients, but let's take a look at some of those photos now, and you can maybe tell us a little bit about what you were doing there.
And I think I took some of these photos too, so if
Great.
anybody's critical of the photos, those are probably the ones.
They're probably yours, huh? Okay. So
That's us serving them, actually, and we see you have we kind of like started down with the chili and then moved down to the cornbread and brownies and onions and all the toppings right there.
And did they like the food?
They did. They loved it.
So these photos show a little more how cramped the quarters were, so you had to really organize who was where, or did you bump into each other a lot?
It was kind of crammed, but we kind of divided and conquered. Like, I was part of the people making chili, and I think Tessa was cutting up the onions, unfortunately. But, I mean, organizing like that kind of helped.
Well, you look like you were having a good time. I mean,
Yeah.
nobody, at least in these photos, nobody's crying. I understand that there were some tears, though. Is that from the onions, or was that just...
There were some tears. We had to step back for a few minutes to get composed and go back in.
But we tried to replace them at one point, and they wouldn't let us.
No.
So they're like, no, this is what we want to do.
We
so.
liked our job.
Now, who got to pour the chili there? Was that the coach's pouring?
So Coach Johnston was in charge of helping him with the chili recipe, you know, the beans and the ground beef. I think we had 20 pounds of ground beef, and then with the chili powder. But we delegated once we got down there and saw the setup, our tall girls. So we had our posts in there with Molly that could handle the strength to handle the pans and not burn themselves on the stove, although I think Molly had a little bad luck at one point.
And it looks like a lot of onions. How many pounds of onions did you have to bring?
Oh my goodness. Do you have any idea?
I feel like there were probably like 3 bags of onions.
Okay, and those are usually 4 and 5 pounds a piece. So
Yeah.
it's quite a few onions. And you provided drinks also?
Yeah, you can see Kendra right there making a big Gatorade cooler of lemonade, and apparently their first sample didn't go very well. You could see it on her face. So
So maybe a little more sweetener in
they
there.
had to doctor it up pretty quickly, yes, but it ended up being great.
And then who had to do all the cleanup?
You know, we just kept everything organized and tried to confine the mess, but, you know, providing the food, serving the food, cooking the food, and then we leave it, and then the men end up going in and cleaning up afterwards. So,
And who paid for the food?
our boosters did. Yeah, we paid for it.
So that's
through
the
our
girls'
booster
varsity
account.
basketball boosters team.
That's correct.
Club, I mean. That's great. Well, so do you have any idea how many corn muffins were served that night, or do you know how many people were actually served, or did you lose
There
count of
were
it?
about 90 men.
90
right?
men.
Yeah,
So.
90 to 100. Yeah.
And when you were serving, were they talking with you at all, or just thanking you for the food?
They were very nice. They asked us about our season and how we were doing, and then they just complimented the food and everything.
Now you did this on January 5th, which was a Saturday. So I understand they were also watching some playoff games going on.
And we wanted it to be as close to the holiday season as we could get, and that was a day that was available. But yeah, they were funny. They're watching their playoff game, but they were very kind to the girls, and you know, there was a lot of clapping, you know. And then at the end of the chili disappeared, and you know, apparently they usually have leftovers, but not that night, and which was a little surprising. They had a few people that weren't even there. They said they made extra plates for them, but the chili disappeared. So then the girls were out there, you know, sharing more cornbread or brownies, and the gentleman would take it, and but a lot of cheering and clapping as they came by and they were celebrating the food. So very kind.
And just real briefly, can you tell our viewers what Transition Projects is?
Transition Projects is a center for homeless men, and it's down under the Hawthorne Bridge. And it's a place where these men can go and they can get at least that one main meal of the day. They're also provided a bed that they can stay in as long as they, you know, adhere to the rules and the code of the place. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to help these men who have been homeless, who are trying to transition back into, you know, stronger roles in society. They have jobs. They go, they work, they come, and they can stay, and so they aren't sleeping out on the streets. But it's still not an easy thing for these gentlemen. So anything we can do to help.
So how did you feel participating in this project? What feeling did you walk away from this with?
It was a lot of fun, and just interacting with them, and they were very nice, and it was a different view on things. just meeting new people and just serving people, like giving back, is a good experience, and it brought us closer as a team.
How so? How did it bring you closer as a team?
Well, like I said earlier, we each kind of were divided up into tasks, and the cool part about it is our groups that we were working with, like normally I don't get the opportunity in practice to spend a lot of time talking to the post because we're on opposite ends of the floor, but we kind of had to work together to prepare a meal, and none of us are 5-star chefs or anything. So it was a learning experience too, but it brought us a lot closer.
Is this something you would want to do again?
Definitely.
So, in addition to your cooking skills now, or your baking skills, I guess I should say, and serving skills, is there anything else you learned from this that you can apply to your daily life?
I think one of the biggest lessons for us all is we're so blessed with all of the opportunities we have, and that's not just through basketball, it's through school and other relationships, but it was really cool to have the opportunity to give back to the community who maybe don't have as many opportunities or the same ones, and it was a very important experience, I think, to us all to learn that lesson.
What about you?
Just what Molly said, I agree, and it was good to just be in there, and just like she said, we're so blessed, and to give back and just to be around adversity, like be around different people that we're not used to being around. Like at our school, we interact with kids kind of that are just like us. They're very blessed, they have their families and everything, and to go help other people out, it's a good feeling.
So have you thought about challenging any of the other teams in the district to do this type of community service, maybe match you for it at some point in time?
You know, I think that it's an idea to get more programs involved, but I would want to just make sure that, at least within our program, that we maintain the reasons that we did it. Again, the lessons and the perspective. We get so caught up in our own situations and our own problems that sometimes we just lose sight of, you know, there are people with real problems out there. So, you know, it's something to explore. If we found the right partnership, I think we'd be interested in doing that. But, you know, it's more about giving back than winning any competition.
And this isn't like you don't have a good team, because I understand you're having a really good season this year. So it was more than building a team to win on the court. I mean, as you mentioned before.
I mean, we have good basketball players. We have good coaches, and you know, like I say, they're very committed. They're talented kids. We didn't have to do this, you know, to help us on the floor. But I do feel like we needed to do this just to bring some reality to, as Molly said, how blessed we are, and you know, some of the things that we take for granted, our skills and abilities and the gifts that we've been given.
Well, I congratulate you on a good season. I congratulate you on going out and doing community service and building a team, and then spreading cheer to some folks who really needed it.
If I can, and one other thing, if someone sees this, you know, next year we would like to do a similar project, but we would like to do something as the need arises in Vancouver. So, you know, if people are interested out there, let us know. And if there's a need in Vancouver, a role that we can fill locally, we would be happy to get involved.
I hope you get a lot of phone calls on that.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us today, and good luck on the rest of your season.
Thank you.